All right, cool.
But we mostly use these ones because they look so green.
All right.
I mean, handsome.
There you go. All right, I'll take both.
You look pretty too, baby.
Pretty. Yeah. All right. Welcome to another episode of Co-Founders. This is Alex Montrose and
Lisa Montrose.
All right. Well, we're going to get right into it. So today's episode is discussing year 3 of building out Monocord Real Estate Professional Services. Year 3 for us was 2018, April 2018 to 2019. So we're actually in year 4 now.
We are in year 4.
We're in year 4. And so let's talk about, we like to talk through calendar years, really.
I know.
It's weird, but let's talk like what we've learned in 3 years. And we're kind of at the beginning of,
we're really halfway through year 4, but calendar year.
So we'll talk business, whatever, our year of being so how do you think it went 3 years in?
Well, it's funny because I think I say every year, I'm like, oh, we've been through the hardest part. We've been through the hardest part. And then it gets harder. And I think I actually sent you a meme the other day that was like, to the effect of adulthood is just saying, after this week, things will slow down over and over again until you die. And I was dying laughing because
that's what we always say.
It's nonstop. Like, after this week or after this happens, things will slow down. And I honestly think our life will probably never slow down. No. I mean, we will die and then it will slow down, but obviously. But
speak for yourself.
There's a hard stop.
Because I will.
This is a stupid thing to say.
It is.
But anyway.
But it's okay. You said it.
But with business, it's kind of the same thing where like every year I feel like we've gone through things, and I've said, I actually think it was at the end of business year 3, we had a meeting with a couple of our team members and we were revising some stuff. And I'm like, gosh, I think we've been through the hardest part of what we'll go through. Yeah. And then it got harder. This year, I think, and it's hard to say year 3 because it does sort of like overlap. It was really,
with 4,
it does blend. But I think some of our biggest challenges were really with our team. And like, we care so deeply about our team, and it's very hard to, we tell them that I'm very big into giving gifts. I love giving people gifts. Like, that makes me feel good. I don't know if it makes them feel good, but it makes me feel good. And I love doing that. And I feel like we've shown our team the appreciation that we feel. And there have been times in the past I don't feel like they truly know that. When people have left our team or when things have happened, I don't think they understand the depth of how much we care. Yeah. And I think that was the hardest part for me in year 3 was separating my personal like gratitude and caring for people from that business relationship. Because at the end of the day, for us, this is our life. Mm-hmm. For them, this is a job. Yeah. And sometimes, this is not an easy job of what we do. And part of the challenge is that we can predict busy seasons. We can't predict how busy a busy season is going to get. Mm. And I think when we faced our biggest challenges is when the market outperforms what we even expected, which is amazing. It's amazing to see our brokers produce more than they even expected, but it does put a strain on our team. And we've had some people that it was too much and they left us. And what was hard for me during that time is that I'm like, gosh, we care so much, we could have fixed it. Yeah. Or we were taking steps to fix, the challenges they were facing, but they didn't see that. And that, I think, that was my biggest lesson in year 3 was really how to separate my personal feelings towards people from this is business. Yeah. And there's a difference.
Yeah. And I think, this, because of the size of our company, it's a really hard line to draw between the personal and keeping it business, keeping it personal. But we're getting better because you and I know the investment we have emotionally into our people, in which I don't ever think that'll go away no matter how big the company gets. No. But, eventually there's only so much visibility you see within, an organization, right? And then really the people closest to you, whether it's management, vice presidents and up, those are, and of course your employees, you'll have interaction, but I think it gets further, the larger the company gets, the further away you get from that, naturally, right? Like right. You can't expect Jeff Bezos to have emotional, he may care for all of his employees, but
But he doesn't know them.
He doesn't know them, exactly. And
Like,
we know our people, and
yeah.
we know them. So, but that is something I think we're getting better at. I think, in honesty, you know, which I don't know if it was true, you know, having the feelings of like, man, do our people even understand or really appreciate what we're doing or what we try to do? And maybe they had the same feelings, like, hey, do my owners really appreciate what I'm doing for them? And what sucks about some of the people I think that we've lost in our business is that, to your point, you said it earlier, like we could have actually, I think, worked things out and figured things out had these individuals came to us and be like, hey, but at the same time, they may have already been just done mentally.
Right.
And be done. And that's okay too. I mean, we would love for everybody to stay with us for forever.
Yeah.
But we also, the reality is people move on. This may just be a stepping stone to something else, you know. So I think you and I are getting better at understanding that. There's a great, I listened to like Gary Vee and all that stuff, and he was talking about like how his dad, and set expectations really for his employees at his wine store. And it was interesting because he's like, my dad used to pay like the stock boy like $12 an hour. And then he would get upset at the stock boy for not working as hard as he was working. And he's like, Dad, like, and I'm paraphrasing, by the way, so forgive me if I mess it up. But
Gary,
anyhow,
if you ever watch our podcast.
if you ever watch this, Gary, you'll
happen to catch this episode, feel free to correct us in the comments.
Yeah, feel free, please. But anyhow,
I mean, really, do.
Yeah. So anyhow, his, the spirit behind what he was saying was like, you can't expect your employees that are getting paid X to, I mean, especially like in his dad's case, $12, and his dad's owner of this company, to work as hard as you when they don't have vested interests like an equity and ownership in the company.
Right.
You know, and you and I had this conversation with our, team just the other day around like, hey, we are getting better not having that because we have an expectation. We work, and some of our team members work. I would say they can match. Some of us can match. Some of them, if not all, I think have the potential to match us if they chose to. And they all do work very hard. So I want to be very clear.
Our team's amazing.
They work extremely hard, and they care. I feel really good about our team right now. By the way, year 3 was good. There was a lot of growth, a lot of pain, but I feel good about where we're at right now with our team, and I feel everybody's vested into the success of the company.
Yeah.
And they're all putting in the effort to make it the best company it can possibly
But I
be.
think this is where I say it was hard for me in year 3, because I think some of the people who left us, I felt the same way about them.
Yeah.
And I think they felt the same way about us. Like they,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you know what I
for
mean?
sure. For sure. Yeah.
Culture to me is really important. Like I worked at a restaurant and I did restaurant industry for a long time. And I remember I ended up, when I moved out to Seattle, I worked at a corporate restaurant, and the owner of the restaurant came in and everyone told me, hey, that's XYZ person. And I'm like, oh, awesome. I'm so excited to meet them. Because everywhere I had worked in my life, I had met people higher up than me, whether it be a local restaurant or retail or whatever it was. They all cared who I was.
Yeah.
Every single person I've ever worked for cared who I was. And this gentleman happened to sit in my section where I was waiting tables. And I served him. He did not make eye contact with me once while he was sitting there. And I quit that job.
Yeah.
Because to me, it is so important that I don't care if you are, cleaning toilets, or if you are making diamond rings, or I don't care what your job is. I don't care if you're the CEO of a company. Every single person matters.
For sure.
Like every single person matters so much. And I think that's why it was so hard for me when people left, is because I thought they felt the same way.
Yeah.
And then,
I did too.
to find out
we both did,
to find out they didn't was a huge realization for me of like, this is just a job. Yes, I feel amazing about our team, and I felt amazing about our team then.
Yeah.
So that's where I did though.
No. I laugh because we actually both did, and we were like, man, our team's awesome. And then bombshells were like, what the heck is going on?
I remember getting an email one night, early last spring. I think it was in between, like right on that cusp of February-ish, and I got an email from our team member that was I was blindsided by it. They wanted to resign from their position. And I actually think I laid down in bed and cried. Shocker, because I'm a crier. But I didn't want to move forward with the company anymore because it mattered that much to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I had to let go of, is that this is just, it may be just, they may care, and it's a job for them.
Exactly. And that's where I think, we're getting better with the expectation, like having that mental, I guess, reasoning to be like, hey, it's okay. You know what I mean? And it actually puts us more at peace of mind. It's putting us more at better peace of mind to know that at any given time, even though it sucks, we could lose our top, employee or everybody could quit tomorrow. And yes, it would suck and we would be questioning a lot of things if that ever did happen. So please, if you're watching this, don't do that.
Please don't have it just like a coup and walk out.
Or if you're listening to this, do not do that, please. Don't go, don't have a mutiny or, is it mutiny?
I don't know. That sounds good.
That sounds good?
I mean, roll with it.
Yeah, we'll roll with it. Okay, so please don't do that. But anyhow, the point we're making is we are getting better. And I think that's also allowing us to also be better leaders and better owners of the business, being better, preparing better for the outcome, for if that happens now. We know, we've been through it now a few times where it's like, okay, either we learn from those lessons or we don't, and we keep going through the same frustrations and same, like, we just keep going through things that if we don't learn from those lessons, like, we'll never grow, right, as owners and as leaders within the business. So I think it's as painful as some of that was in year 3. It actually helped us grow both, I think, individually and as leaders of the business. And I feel really good about that because, just talking about yesterday, our team meeting, I loved our team meeting. I loved the interaction we had with our team. I loved the everything they shared, right, and the openness and the transparency and the candor. All that stuff that they brought to the table is something that I don't think comes overnight. I think they truly sense we care. And we do, and I sense that they care, and that's what it's reciprocal, right? And it's awesome. It's awesome to be there. And my hope is that, a year from now, on an episode like this, we're talking about that same team being with us, and only expanding by X, right? And being that much larger with the same type of folks that know we care, and that they care, and we together can build a really great culture and great company.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's what we set out to do from the beginning. We just had a lot of lessons to learn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we're still learning.
And
it's
we
still
will continue to learn.
Yeah. It's not easy. Yeah. No, it definitely has not been easy. But, and I know going into the end of the year, remember it was funny. So we were wrapping up 2018 going into 2019. And we're like, man, we were hitting a stride. We were hitting a huge stride, by the way. And boom, January 1st comes around. We lost a really key player. Then a month, what was it like?
2 key players,
Yeah, 2 key players, actually. Yeah, 2 key players. And we're like, okay, we'll figure it out.
And we did. And it was actually, we handled it, and I was like, okay. And it was sad because it was 2 people who had been with us since the beginning. And that was really tough. But we made it through that. And I was like, we've got this. Yeah. And then business exploded. We had more files than we knew what to do with. We had brokers who were super happy with us. Yeah. And then it exploded so much that it just put that extra pressure on our team.
It did. Yeah. And then it was like, man, they were just falling.
Oh my gosh. Wounded soldiers.
Wounded everywhere.
It was
tough. Like a battlefield. It was. But we survived it. We survived it. And we made it out. And as painful as it was, because it was you and I together, and speaking as owners, but as both a married couple, it was really difficult for us. And that's the one thing that it's our business and it's our little baby what we can never get away from. It's almost like our people that are with us, they can go, and it's almost like having a grandparents with our kids, right? They're like, okay, I'm done. And they know.
Or they duct tape our kids to the wall. That's.
Well, your mom did that too.
Yeah.
By the way, yeah, that's a real thing. So she duct taped the kids to the wall. Jokingly, by the way, it was not. Barb.
Yeah,
if you're
don't
watching
get her in
this,
trouble.
don't. We won't have CPS come after you. But anyhow.
Yeah, but that's what grandparents can do. Parents can't do that.
No. But, people can come and go. And during those times, especially in, what was it, like March, April, the busy season, really, you and I we went through a lot. I mean, there was probably moments of depression. There was moments of, do we continue? Do we keep pressing forward? Because of the workload and the amount of, support we had was really, we were running really thin.
Really thin.
And it was tough. It was really, really tough. And so, and I feel like we say that every year, but going back to what we thought was going to be a whole different year of really thriving turned into a year of, okay, we have to battle it out. We have to survive. We're changing programs. We're implementing new changes to the company, new pricing structures, all these things that we were doing. And we're doing it with a skeleton crew, like literally with like,
But to go back to, I'm always wrapping my head around like how there are people who have left us. We've had, I think a couple in particular that were like, I just didn't feel like you cared. And I'm like, how do you, I don't get, because we went through all of that. So we're actually taking our team on a 3-day cruise in a month, which I'm super excited about. We wanted to find a way to appreciate them and say, we know what you guys went through this spring because we went through it too. And let's go celebrate as a team and enjoy some time away. And we do that because we care.
Yeah.
We definitely do that because we care.
100%. And that's the part that really, and be honest, like, I take that feedback and I'm like, okay, I want to be, I'm going to say what I feel because it's the truth. It's like, for somebody to say that, one, it's a valid feeling they have.
Well, right, they have that
valid.
feeling.
And
that's
valid.
Where I try to figure out how, though.
Yeah, but then I'm like, because then the frustration I have is like, well, how the hell did you come to that conclusion? And you start like backtracking to everything we do. And you're like, how did you actually come to that equation when I can walk you through literally everything that we've given you and everything we've provided you, and you can still walk in and say that we didn't care? That really, I'll be honest, pisses me off as an owner. And I'm not the only owner. There's owners out there that are like, and that same frustration. And we talk to a lot of business owners. And that's something I don't know if employees really understand is like, it's not a one-way street. It's two ways. But when you come to that conclusion where you're like, they don't really care. Look, when I left my corporate job, okay, I was there 7 years, middle management, managing $100 million for the company. I left. I can never walk away from that company and be like, they didn't, and pointing a finger as if I was a victim. You know why? Because I'd be lying.
Right.
They actually treated me really well. It was on me. I wasn't happy anymore working there. So I made a decision for my health to be like, hey, I can't do this anymore. But it has nothing to do with my leader, my boss, my VP, whatever. It had nothing to do with them. So I'd be lying if I said, no, they didn't care about me. I'd be like, how did I come to that conclusion? When I do the equation,
but
how did I come to that conclusion?
You had people on your team leave that probably expressed that. So it's, I don't know if it's the individual person that doesn't see certain things. Is it on the person? Is it on us as an employer not speaking their, if you want to call it a love language?
Maybe, yeah, it could be that. I mean, we're not going to discredit or discount anything, right?
Yeah.
Or not validate those things because people have feelings. Okay, so with that said, so we went through all that and we came out of it. We're coming out of it now. I'm very grateful, very thankful for where we're at. So year 3, I think, was a growth. It was actually we actually broke another crazy record with transactions revenue, which was awesome. And man, you know what it proved? Year 3, we are resilient as all freaking.
I got my tattoo.
You got a tattoo?
It says resilience.
When did you get that?
Because it really is. Like
we are resilient MFers.
I think what this year we are. But I think what this year sort of proved to us, and even though it was very, very hard, is it's like you can survive.
Yeah.
Like even things that, I mean, I can't tell you how many days there was like, I can't do this.
Oh, no.
Like, oh my gosh, I can't do this.
Yeah.
It was workload, but it was just
Yeah.
because all of the work came on me, and it was just like this insane workload. And I'm like,
Stone cold.
eyes, wet stone cold.
Wet stone cold.
It was like, how do I do this? And
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
And it does prove that we as humans
Yeah.
are resilient if we just kind of dig in and do it.
Right.
You know, I mean, sometimes you just have to dig in and get through it, and you do get through it. It's
You
not
do,
that,
yeah.
and I think that was like the promising thing for us is this isn't forever. Like this isn't going to be how this is forever. I mean, and if it is, we're not going to keep doing this. But like for a
Right.
short time, you're stronger than you think.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, as humans, we are stronger than we think.
I even want to acknowledge, like, even, I think not only us, but our employees,
Oh, hands down.
those that are stuck by with us have also been through a lot, and they're still here. And even the new ones that are like, you know, coming into year 3, going into year 4, they've got a taste of a little bit, and I'm impressed by their resilience to be like, you know what, I'm all in. Like, I'm here to make this a great company. That I think is, I get so excited about. One, when we get to hear back the feedback from our team, when we get to see them in action, and when we get to actually see them invest into the company with their time and energy, and not treat it like a clock. Here, I clocked in, I clocked out, I'm done.
Right.
We don't have any of those folks, and it's actually beautiful to see like a culture being built around like people that really care. And so I go back to really feeling, because I have feelings too. People don't think I do, but I actually have some. I have like a couple feelings. But I do. I feel really good about our team. I feel good about their commitment to the business. And I couldn't be happier right now. So yeah.
I feel great about our team too, and I think there's a lot of diversity in personalities as well, that I think every person we had in that room yesterday added a different element of personality and commitment, and I mean it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you'd feel like you're walking side by side with them.
For sure.
You know, I mean, they know this is a journey.
Yeah.
Running a business is a journey. We're not 20 years in and have everything established like a McDonald's franchise.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is sometimes, again, I think we've probably said this in every episode, but you build the plane as you're flying.
And you know what? I mean, I do want to acknowledge one last thing too, which is it's pretty cool to see. And you and I have been pulling for her as well. We've actually had a team member as of this year even start a side business.
Yeah.
And when I heard her to show up and be like, hey, I'm going to do the side business, like I was ecstatic, because everybody has dreams, right? Either to be whatever it is, but she's taken a leap, you know what I mean, of saying, hey, I'm going to start something. And I have so much respect for, one, people stepping out and doing that. And then two, I want to also say people are making their own little businesses, I would say, within even our own company, in the sense of taking like risk of saying, hey, I want to build a program for this. Can we do that? So the ceiling we're creating a really high ceiling for our team to be like, look, there's the opportunities here. It's not about you clocking in and clocking out. It's really about building what you want to build here. And if you have something that you feel good about, that you want to actually explore, we will get behind it if it makes sense. And we're starting to see people kind of like testing the waters, and so I think that's awesome. I mean, I've been really, really impressed with that.
Well, and I hope that or a portion of where that comes from, I guess, is being part of a startup.
Yeah.
And seeing like two normal people, because I mean, we're not normal, but
no,
like
we're very weird.
But we're not the.
Or I'll speak for myself.
Well, no, we're weird. I mean, I know people leave us and they're like, they're a weird couple, and it's fine. I'm okay with it. I've come to grips with it. But for all intents and purposes or whatever, we're just your normal. I mean, we're not fancy.
Yeah.
We don't walk around in, $2,000 suits. Like we're nothing special. We're just normal people, right? And I hope that they're starting those businesses or believing it's possible because they've seen us do it.
Yeah.
And we're not, like I said, I mean, we're normal.
Yeah.
Like if people meet us, they don't walk away feeling intimidated. You know what I mean? We're just normal people.
Yeah.
Can I emphasize how normal we are?
Normal and feeling.
We are normal with feelings.
Feeling and normal. We're just normal feeling people. That's all we are.
That's all we are. But I actually hope that is motivating for people to get outside of themselves and to not, because when you see people who are successful, you're like, oh, that works for them because they graduated from MIT, or they were, they got an $80 million inheritance. So of course they were able to do it. We didn't. I mean, I remember, I don't know if you want me to say this. We may have to cut this out if you don't. But I mean, I remember when I met you, you were like digging through your couch for change to pay rent.
No, that's real.
I mean, that's real. I remember you
I've been broke
with a bag of change to be able to pay rent.
Yeah.
And that was change found in your couch. And I remember borrowing, $75 from my best friend's, like a sleight of hand at a Starbucks so that I could put gas in my car before. And that was when you and I were dating. Like this was not that long ago.
You know what's crazy is like a lot of our close friends during that time, we were all in very similar situations, and not a lot of people know that, but we were all in very similar situations like that, and we've all come out of that.
Yeah.
What has it been, like 7 years, give or take? And it's a whole different world. It's crazy how time flies and how time changes. So yeah.
It does change. But again, we were normal people.
We were.
And we still are.
We are normal.
And so I think I hope that encourages people to say, I can do this. Like, I don't have to have the right circumstances or the right whatever. You can do it.
Yeah.
Anything. You can do anything. Like, the world is your oyster.
I love it.
It's a fun little phrase.
So we're going to transition really quick to a quick optimizing tip. So this is our optimizer segment of the episode where I'm going to share a little bit of strategy, tactic, something to help either your business, your life, get more optimized. And today I want to start, we talked a lot about the business today and year 3 and so on. But I'm going to transition a little bit because I think this is important. Lisa and I have been talking about, family structure. And we've had some folks on recently on our podcast, and the family really kind of became the focal point around the business and around the success of their company and overall life. And the one thing that I want to share with you, and something that I'd ask you to consider implementing, is how often are you establishing a family meeting where you gather the family together and you literally have like you would put your team meeting together for your business every Monday or whenever that is, and you have that structured agenda where you cover the topics for the team and updates are given by the team and so on. And are you able to replicate that same structure and bring it to the home? We, Lisa and I, have been doing, family meetings probably since we first, started. We haven't always been consistent. It's always something that's there, but nevertheless, we've been able to establish a structure for family meetings and how it should be implemented. And it's been really powerful. It's really gives a time to where you can reconnect with your family, your kids. You provide a structured agenda where everybody has a say for, let's say, 5 minutes. Maybe you do it for, a 30-minute meeting or an hour meeting. Let's say you have a family of 4, you have a family of 5, whatever the case may be. And even involving your toddlers, right? So that they get used to understanding that there's a set time where everybody gets together, very structured, where we talk things about the household. We talk about extracurricular activities. We talk about updates that every child, especially if you have teenagers, what are they going through, challenges, and allow them to kind of share what's going on, and then provide some guidance and direction for the following week coming up and month. I think we got into a rhythm where we were doing it once a week, and then later it kind of turned into maybe once a month and so on. So my encouragement to you is, if you have never tried a family meeting, I recommend that you maybe give it a shot. And you actually set a structure where you sit everybody down and say, hey, we're going to have a family meeting. It's 1 hour. These are the topics we're going to discuss. And you allow everybody's input during that time and see what happens. See if you can reconnect with your family, reconnect with maybe your spouse again, and let it be a time of, connection and actually and being productive, right? And getting things done during that time. So that's my tip for the day. And with that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, and I'll let you sign us off.
Perfect.
I won't let you. You just do it.
You just,
But
well,
go
I mean,
ahead.
you can.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me.
I know, seriously.
Thank
I
you.
know how
Me
do
and
it.
my feelings and my wet, stone cold eyes. I appreciate you letting me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, good. Got that out of the way. But thank you for joining us for another episode of Co-Founders, and we enjoy this. I hope you do, and we look forward to seeing you next time.